Hey everyone, Corey here coming in to do our energy update. This one is going to be for those last days in August. We are coming into September, and of course, we are preparing for another shift. And we're in Virgo season, and Virgo season is a very Virgo brings us back down to earth. And Virgo has this sense of grounding to it. And of course, we just left the Leo season, and the big Leo influence this past season has been it's been big, and so we've had a lot of big energy, a lot of big changes, and a lot of big things that's been taking place. We've had a lot of environmental, a lot of natural and nature things also taking place, such as the earthquakes and the big impacts that they have had upon us. And then, of course, we've had a lot of kind of man-made influences, which comes in the collective consciousness. And that doesn't come from the universal. That doesn't come from the movement of the planets. That comes in a whole different way. But where we are moving into and what we're moving through is we just came through the new moon energy. And we just had that big new moon influence in 0 degrees. So we are in the 0 degree. We're just moving into the first degrees of this Virgo energy, and having this big kind of energy, but it's also like a slow start. So it brings in like a slow start to something big unfolding. So we do have some big things that are unfolding in the next few weeks, and some big changes that are also happening. And if you have been going through your own kind of ups and downs and wondering where I fit in, where I belong, what's going on with me, is that you may be experiencing what is called you might be on a hero's journey. You might also be going through one of those dark night of the soul journeys. You may have been traveling through this. So for myself, I know when I had a massive black moon, I was going to say, when I had a massive dark night of the soul journey for myself, it was actually during the creation of More Than Existing, as I traveled through each and every week for 4 levels to get through that every bit of it was to bring me all the way full circle back into recognizing and not recognizing myself. And that was a very big aha moment. I recognized myself, but I didn't recognize myself. And so it's like when we begin something new, we're not meant to step in as if we know it, as if we know it all. We are meant to step in with curiosity. We're meant to step in with beginner mind. And as we're moving into this last week, and moving then into September, it's going to be about moving in with a beginner mind. It's like stepping in as if we have never walked this journey before. You've had many Septembers before. You've had many ends of August. You've had many long weekends, Labor Day weekends before, but you've never had this one. You have never been right here. None of us have been where we are right here in our next breath. The next breath that we take, we have not been there. We have not ever been there before. And so each and every moment is a new opportunity. So we are a newbie. We're a newbie to all of these new experiences. We're a newbie to some of this new energy we're experiencing that we have not experienced kind of in our lifetimes, that it is bringing about some change for us. And so when we can let go of the I know, I got it, and set ourselves free of this, and to say, I'm very curious because I know I may have knowledge, I may have wisdom, but I don't know if I got it all figured out. And that's kind of the beauty of what I think I've really come to understand about even becoming like a Reiki master teacher over the years. It was the beginning of dismantling. It was the beginning of unknowing. It was the beginning of letting go. And it was the beginning of letting go of identities, of titles that were created, that were creating identities. And I didn't need titles to create this identity. I needed to let go of all of these identities. So where we're moving into is really about letting go of identities, letting go of what you so kind of hell bent on being identifying by and being identified by. It's like, we put us all in these generations, right? Like the Generation X, the Generation Z, the millenniums. Like we all get broken down into all of these categories. And then there's this specific identity and the way we're meant to be and who we are. And that creates personas, right? There is so many influences that come in from the collective consciousness, but also from your own zodiac sign, and just going by your sun sign as creating this persona, this identity, or by giving other people identity by that. It's like, oh, those Aries people. That's only such a small piece of the puzzle. And so every part of our titles, our jobs, our roles that we play, they're all such little minute parts. They're pieces of a puzzle. And once we can kind of shatter the old puzzle, and we can take all of these pieces of authentic truth and bring it together, we start to see something new. It is like working with stained glass, right? It's like you look at stained glass and it's all welded together. It has an image, it's beautiful. But what's more beautiful is the reflection. What makes it the most beautiful, what makes it spectacular is the reflection. It is what we are reflecting out. And what we are reflecting onto another and deflecting away from ourselves is the things that becomes often our own kryptonite. It becomes the rite of passage to how we're going to feel about other people. And so it is about bringing in our feelers and how we feel, and not allowing our memories and emotions to create this feeling, but stepping into the awe. And so there's a magical awe that is coming forth, and just being able to find and exist in that magical awe. So there is a real magical awe, but there's also tension. And I'm really picking up the tension. I'm picking up all of these things. And I'm in a real week off this week. I'm just saying, like, I just put this on over the top of my shirt. And I'm having a hot flash, but I really had to, I think I have one client this week, and the rest, I just took the whole week and just said, I'm going into slowdown. And I'm here because I'm recognizing something that is shifting within me. I'm recognizing something within myself that I'm releasing something that I've over-identified with for so many years in my life. And I can feel it in this energy. I don't get to be void of all of this. I get to be a part of all this. And when I hit the start button, hit the record button, I never know what's coming. I never edit these videos. These are the way they are, because it is just what I'm receiving in the moment and in this very experience. And so when the guides start to communicate, and when they start to speak through what is happening there, I have such aha moments that I can hear that, like, just hold on to them, just remember that. But I rarely do remember it. But this one has been beginning for me for days, and I have been feeling this one for some time. And so this movement that we're in, this shift, is aligning us to something that can be magical, but that can also feel that could bring about the feeling of feeling a little afraid and fearful, because we're stepping into a new period, a new time, which means that it brings about changes, and it changes the projection. It changes the narrative of our stories. It relieves us in some way, because it relieves the attachment to identities. It relieves the attachment to trying to carry the weight or hold ourselves up to some of those things that are happening in it, that we feel responsible for being, who we feel responsible for being. And that we have this sense of duty, and really releasing the senses of duty that we place upon ourselves, the pressures that we place on ourselves, and letting those pressures, like releasing from those pressures. We're moving into a time that feels like we're stepping on a magic carpet, and we're being taken on a journey while still being grounded here on earth. And so it is movement, and it is dreamy. It is also practical. It is also logical. It has a bit of everything this coming week. But it's telling us that it's also a really good week to to take the break, to slow it down, to kind of come into this and recognizing how it's the slower energy, the slow start is remembering that we have a lifetime. It's to go the long distance. And if we want to go the long distance without exhausting ourselves, what it means is that we have to really truly look at and recognize the where we go all or nothing, and how the all or nothing energy is outdated and exhausted. There's periods of time when we give our all for a short period, but that's for the sprint, right? But it's not for the long haul. And that we can't stay in that exhausting energy that keeps depleting us over and over again. And when do we stop doing the same thing over and over? So it's really calling us up and out on our own kind of repeat patterns as well, but also saying, you know what, this is a deep dive, and this is taking us on a real kind of, it's like kind of out through the deep dive and up and into a new world, or into a new life, or into new opportunities, or into new possibilities. So there is this new kind of influential energy. And instantly, I just feel this sense of like the Libra energy already coming in. And I'm like, we are nowhere near the Libra. We're still in Virgo. We only just began. And here's Libra trying to make its way in. And so, and that is the collective consciousness of getting ahead of ourselves. And the collective consciousness is about getting ahead and moving into a season that's not yet here, but preparing for a season. And as I was down in my yard and I was just talking to the gentleman that's fixing the lawn, everything for him right now is this rush. And like he said, the rain kind of slowed them down. It took away days of work. So they're days behind. But in those days of being behind and trying to do catch up is how he got exhausted and tired and ended up on my lawn. And so it's like, yes, things must get done. Things need to be done. But at what cost, and what is the cost, and what is the expense, right? At what expense do we keep over expanding and over giving because we get caught up in the rush? And it feels like we get caught in the rush, or we get caught in the sense of over identifying. And what's it costing us to over identify, to be over committed, to be overdoing, overextending, over being, right? And so it's like it comes at a cost. And it's like it's the like this big exhale, but we forget to breathe back in. And so this expansion and stretching until we break, right? And what is that breaking point? And where do we break? And sometimes the universe puts obstacles in our ways that tries to stop us in our tracks and gets us to really, truly be present in our moments and just say, why am I feeling the pressures of the world and of life? What can I do? And I can only extend myself so much, and I only have so much to give. And I'm only a newbie, and I'm a new beginner in this moment and in this experience. And so there's so many little moving factors of this energy. And I feel like I've got two little categories that I'm talking to, and they've somehow blended together. And so I'm like, how do I separate these? I don't think they're meant to be separated. I think it's like these two little categories of stories, and I see them rolling down like reels, but they're coming down the same time, like like playing the slot machines. And you know how the reels roll, and it's like they start to slow down, and it might be an apple and an orange. Well, that's what I got. And it's like they're not fully aligned. And the third one is not going to really make a difference unless the first one is aligned. That's what it looks like to me. It's like we need all three to match to hit the jackpot, right? We need some sort of come together. If we have two that are similar and then the third one is not, we can get a little bit of a prize, right? But it's how do we bring everything together, and how do we become that one? And it is about the sense of the over identifying, the overextending, finding balance in both, and then allowing for the alignment of the reward. What is the reward for really truly letting go and having that ultimate surrender and surrendering into? and stepping into the possibility that maybe the universe, maybe the soul knows something that you are yet to know. And that it just, and as it drops in and it falls in, and then everything falls into place. As long as we're trying to create the sense of an identity, a self, and not allowing space for the organic, right? The metamorphosis. I guess that's the word. That's what they just told me. Metamorphosis, right? Is the metamorphosis. And so you got to leave space for all to develop, for all to come to life. And it is a slow start. And so we're slowly, the last reel is kind of coming down, it's coming in slow, it hasn't fully shown itself yet. And so there is something that is kind of guiding us, like a guiding light that is bringing us into reaping the rewards of what we decide, what we're harvesting, right? It is something that is coming in. And so there is a reward, there is a sense of satisfaction, there is an opportunity. There's so many things that are here that could possibly roll up and roll in. And what feels like, a big win for one person may not be a big win for somebody else, but you're not here to look into what somebody else's big win is. You're here to really embrace your new moments, your new opportunities, your big wins, what they look like, what they feel like, where they're, where's this energy coming from? How did this just unfold? So it does definitely has some magical energy, but on the other side, there's tension. There is the want, and I'm going to keep bidding higher. I'm going to keep pushing myself. I'm going to keep doing and doing and doing and doing, right? It's just like, I want this, and so the frustration, the irritation, the anger, the resentment, those things that get in the way because we keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and we keep wanting something to happen when we want it, or keep trying to force something to happen, or trying to, and then nothing works out, and all you're left is broken, depleted, let down, disgusted, upset, mad, and then blaming the whole universe instead of sitting back and just saying, I'll just keep pushing when it's my time to push. I'll just keep doing when it's my time to do. I'll just keep allowing myself to be to feel the joy of being who I know I am here to be and what I'm here to be. And so there's just this energy that's saying, relax into this. New things are coming, change is happening, but be very aware of the over identifying or being so invested in the identities that we're so determined define us. But is it what defines us? And back to the stained glass. So bring me back to the stained glass. It's the reflection. It is the stained glass. It's about when the sun aligns and looks out and shines in through that stained glass, and the reflection of what happens. And that's where the awe is. And it is what we reflect into the world, onto others. That's where the awe is. And the awe is always in what we bring to the table, who we are to ourselves, who we are to others, how we show up in the world, who we are in relationship with ourselves, who we are in relationship with others. You're not here to be liked by everyone, and you're not here to take responsibility for shit that's not your responsibility, but you are responsible for how you show up. You're responsible for how you react. You're responsible for how you respond. You're responsible for what you absorb, for what you breathe in, what you allow to identify you. Is, if it's still the things from childhood, you're now the adult and you're not the child no more. And when we can honestly get honest, say, okay, I'm choosing to act that way. I'm not a kid. I'm not a child. And that past doesn't exist anymore. It's not here. So why am I still allowing myself to be controlled by that? It's my choice. I'm choosing to not allow myself to heal and resolve this within myself. Why am I punishing me? Why am I being angry at me? And why am I holding so tight to these identities? And why do I believe that a label that is given to me is my identity, and that's the only way to my joy and my happiness? Why? And so we are moving into a time of where the accountability, the responsibility is being put back onto that self, right? And so there's a real maturing energy coming in, and it's a real sense of having to mature, having to kind of evolve and grow. And it's bringing in a point of where it's not about pointing fingers, it's going to be about true accountability, right? It's not being able to lay the responsibility on somebody else or lay the blame on somebody else. It's to bring it back to self. And so everything comes back into self. And so we are kind of coming up and into the light, and the light is shining. But what are we reflecting? When the light shines and we are seen, what are we reflecting out? What are we putting out? And who are we being when the light is shining? As we're now moving into a period of time of where we're getting less and less light, I'm picking up the light shining bright this week. So there is a influential energy that is saying, the new beginnings have happened. We have not been here before. We're going to see and witness and experience things that we have probably never seen and experienced before. Like I said, big new possibilities are coming in, but it's bringing about some big new changes. And then I feel like this mad rush, it's so easy to get caught in the mad rush, the madness of the rush. And that usually comes in that first week of September, and people get tangled up in the mad rush. It's like everything starts at once, everything begins at once. Then we feel the responsibility. Oh, my kid's got to be in all of this stuff, and I gotta fill my schedule. How about we start not overfilling our schedule, not overcommitting, not overdoing, not overextending ourselves, because that's what's being required to move into this next phase. And they're saying, be very aware and very careful of the overdoing, overcommitting, because if you're not available for something new to come in, then you're going to miss out. And it's because, oh, I already made these plans, or I already did this, and you already planned like a year down the road what I'm going to be doing. Don't overplan, overextend, and don't feel like you have to be overcommitted to everything. And don't let the pressures of society right now bring you into being committed to things that you're not sure if you're going to have the time, the space, and the energy to do it. So catch the breath, catch the energy, catch the collective consciousness, the archetypal energy that flows with this, the duty, right? It's my duty, it's my job, it's my responsibility. No, it's not all yours, right? Set yourself free of some of those archetypal roles that you take on, and just say, no, I have to revisit them and look at this differently, and know that if I want to step into this new kind of beginning, this new possibility, I want to do it in balance and in alignment to my heart, to the harmony of my own heartbeat, to my own inspiration, to my own intuition, and what feels right for me. And that's the big energy that we have unfolding coming up for this week. Do we have more? Yeah, we do. And I just feel like there is a, how we can be disappointed. There's like a disappointing energy, and it's just saying, like something big that's, it could be some big event or some big thing you're supposed to be going to, that could be happening. I just feel like it could be delays or postponements. So that could be airlines, that could be travel, it could be something on the highways. I just feel like there's things being postponed, slowing you down, things getting in the way. If you're traveling, if you're going somewhere, if you have an event to be at, sometimes it's pays to go a little bit early. Expect some delays. That's what it feels like. There could be some delays. Expect some delays. I do see something coming crashing down, and I don't know what's coming crashing down. It could be the stock market. It could be something like that as well. But I do feel like it's like coming closer to the end of the week. Maybe even in the beginning of the week, it could be a downward in a stock market. It could be something that, like some big business that just all of a sudden goes out of business. But delays, crashing down is what I get. Something is falling, like there's a tower moment that is coming up, but it's on a world scale, like something bigger. And it's just like a collapse. There is a collapse of something that kind of, it's like a sideways swoop that is coming in, and it leaves like disappointment, sadness, kind of in like, yeah, no, disappointment. It's like that big kind of letdown, but it's also eye openers, right? It's like where we don't put all of our eggs in one basket. Don't put all of our faith and trust in without being curious and without asking questions and without reading all the fine print. And it's where you can also get some unexpected news. So there's like, there is some, not for everyone, of course, but there is like this unexpected news that changes the projection or the direction of life or the way things are going for some people. And this could be family, could be relationship wise, but I also am picking this up on a big scale. So it's like a downward, and I don't know, don't know how long it's down, but it does have some delay to it. But I am picking up closer to the end of the week and into the beginning of next week. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting. That's what I have. But that's what I'm going to leave you with for now. I send you so much love, and just, we haven't been here before. Your next breath, you haven't been here before. You're a newbie to every new moment, every new experience. Stop filling it up and stop overdoing, overextending, and over-identifying, and stop feeling like you have to be the answer to everything for everyone. Much love.